I thought I'd share a few of my home assistant automations. Most of my automations are around energy and energy usage for our setup at home. This is what our setup at home looks like, and we try to maximise what we can do with it with automations. We're also on Octopus Intelligent Tariff, or the correct name is Octopus Intelligent GO Tariff, which gives us an import cost per kilowatt hour of 7 pence at off peak, and we can export at 15 pence at any time of the day. Moving on to our home assistant, this is our general dashboard that we use most of the time, and feel free to pause and zoom into this so you can have a look at what's going on in more detail. These are probably two most important automations to me because I'm on the Octopus Intelligent GO tariff, so I'm going to look at these first. And these two automations are outside of the normal 11:30 to 5:30 off-peak times that we can get when we're charging the car. And all this energy will be at off-peak as well, so 7 pence per kilowatt hour. And we'll start off by looking at the ohme on, so that's when the car is charging. This trigger, so when things do happen, comes from a Shelly device, which measures the power going into the electric car through the cabling. So when the Shelly device picks up more than 1.2 kilowatts going into the electric car or through the ohme charger for 20 seconds, that causes the trigger to trigger. And that trigger has a condition, and the condition is that it's between 5:31 AM and before 23:30, which is our non-standard off-peak times. And the first thing that happens when this trigger happens is that it sends a message to my mobile phone or my Apple Watch to say that we are on off-peak times, and that's just a personal notification. The next thing I have to do is stop the energy going into the car from coming from my home batteries. To do this, I allow the Victron inverter to accept charge, and this automation does this, which turns off the VBOS disabled charge. So the Victron system's already in disabled charge mode, so I'm turning that off. And I'm also putting the reserve up on the Tesla Powerwall to 100%. And by putting the Tesla Powerwall onto time-based control, that allows it to charge at 5 kilowatts. Now, if I've chosen backup, the Tesla Powerwall will charge at 3.6 kilowatts. I also turn on our other car charger, our smaller 3.6 car charger, and also change the ESS, which is our Victron system, to keep them batteries fully charged. So we're actually charging up both batteries now while the ohme is charging the car. Now, the disabled automation there used to be our eSense connection on our My Energy Eddi device, so we used to heat the hot water at the same time as this through the My Energy Eddi, but that's been disabled now since we've got the heat pump in. So when all that happens, the car's charging, as you can see from the car chargers here, and the two batteries are also charging, and all that is at the 7 pence per kilowatt hour off peak, so the energy can be used afterwards. And when the car stops charging, we've got to stop everything from charging, so we do this with these next automations. And the trigger for these automations is when the Shelly drops below 1 kilowatt, and when it does this for 1 minute. And obviously with the condition, or and if, is when the time is between 5:31 PM and 23:29 PM. So it's the non-standard off-peak period on the Octopus Intelligent. So the first thing that what happens when the trigger happens is that we drop the Tesla Powerwall back down to 5%, and we reconfirm that the Tesla Powerwall is on time-based control, and the Victron system is on BL disabled, and this allows the battery to be charged and discharged again. I also send a message to my mobile phone or the iWatch telling me that the off-peak period is finished, and I also only allow the solar to be discharged back to the grid at the 15 pence per kilowatt hour export, because I don't want the batteries to discharge to the grid, I just want the solar to go there. I also don't want the Victron system to charge back up from solar, so I turn the VBOS discharge on again. And finally, we make sure the 3.6 car charger is switched off and the e-sense is switched off. Now, we didn't actually activate it, but it's good to keep the off in the automation just to keep everything neat and tidy and make sure everything's the way you want it to be at the end of an automation. Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions or comments, please add it to the section below.